The salty air hung heavy. A chill wind whipped around Beacon Point. The old lighthouse stood sentinel, its beam long extinguished. Below on the jagged rocks lay the first body, a woman. Her limbs were arranged in an unnatural pose. Strange symbols etched into driftwood encircled her. It was an image that would haunt Detective Jamie Novak's dreams. The second body surfaced a week later. A fisherman stumbled upon it, tangled in his nets. Another victim, another cryptic arrangement. This time it was a man. His eyes stared vacantly at the stormy sky. A single white lantern, its flame extinguished, rested on his chest. The press descended, hungry for answers. The whispers started. Was this the work of a cult? The third discovery sent a shockwave through the community. This time the victim was found near the base of the old lighthouse. It was a young woman. Her body was adorned with dried wildflowers and more of those strange symbols. Panic set in. The once peaceful seaside town was now gripped by fear. The murders were clearly connected, but how? Detective Novak felt the weight of expectation on her shoulders. She studied the victims, searching for any connection. The symbols, the rituals, the location, it all pointed to something sinister, something ancient, something she couldn't ignore. The first victim, Eleanor Vance, was a librarian. Quiet, bookish, a lover of local history. She had been working on a project about the lighthouse and its former keepers. Could her research have unearthed something dangerous? The second victim, Thomas Reed, was a fisherman, a man of the sea, known for his quiet strength and solitary nature. He lived a simple life, but something about his past didn't add up. Detective Novak learned that his family had deep roots in the community, going back generations. The third victim, Emily Carter, was a young artist, new to the town. Her vibrant paintings captured the beauty of the coast. But beneath the surface, Emily harbored a secret. She had been drawn to the lighthouse, compelled by its tragic history. Her last painting, unfinished, depicted a shadowy figure standing at the top of the lighthouse, a lantern in hand. Each victim, so different in life, united in death. Detective Novak examined their connections, their routines, their secrets. She refused to believe this was random. There had to be a link. Detective Jamie Novak wasn't your typical detective. She was young, but her sharp instincts and unwavering determination had earned her a reputation. The pressure of the case was immense. She immersed herself in the investigation. Novak spent hours poring over the evidence. She visited the crime scenes again and again, searching for any missed detail. She interviewed locals, piecing together the victims' final days. She scoured historical records, delving into the lighthouse's past. The symbols found at the crime scenes, she discovered, were ancient nautical signs. They were used by sailors for centuries, a language of the sea. But these symbols were twisted, corrupted. They spoke of darkness, of rituals, of a power beyond human comprehension. Novak felt a growing sense of unease. This wasn't just a murder case, it was something far more sinister. The forensics lab became Novak's second home. She worked closely with the team, analyzing every piece of evidence. The driftwood symbols, the lantern, the wildflowers. They held the key to unlocking the killer's motives. DNA analysis revealed a partial profile from the wildflowers found on Emily Carter's body. The DNA didn't match any known criminals, but it did lead them down a new path. Genealogy databases revealed a familial match. The DNA belonged to a descendant of a family who lived in the town a century ago. The same family who once served as keepers of the Beacon Point Lighthouse. Digital forensics provided another breakthrough. Emily Carter, it turned out, had been researching the history of the lighthouse online. She had been in contact with a local historical society, requesting information about a group known as the Lantern Keepers. The Lantern Keepers were a spiritualist group who believed they could communicate with the spirits lost at sea. They used the lighthouse as their meeting place, conducting rituals and seances within its shadow. Section 5. Whispers of Suspicion, the Lantern Keepers. The Lantern Keepers. The name sent chills down Novak's spine. Their story was shrouded in mystery and whispered rumors. They believed the lighthouse held a dark power, a beacon that drew lost souls to its light. They performed their rituals to appease these spirits, to prevent them from wreaking havoc on the living. But their practices were considered strange, even dangerous. They were accused of dabbling in dark magic, of summoning forces they couldn't control. The group eventually disbanded under a cloud of suspicion, but rumors persisted that their descendants still practiced their rituals in secret. Novak's investigation led her to the local historical society. She met with its curator, a frail but sharp-witted woman named Miss Agatha Crane. Miss Crane confirmed that the lantern keepers were real. They were a secretive bunch, Miss Crane said, her voice a low rasp. Believed they could talk to the dead. Some folks thought they were harmless eccentrics, others thought they were meddling with forces beyond their control. Novak studied the old photographs and documents Miss Crane spread out on the table. One photo in particular caught her eye. It showed a group of people gathered in front of the lighthouse. Two men stood in the center of the group, their faces obscured by the shadows of their wide-brimmed hats. "Who are they?" Novak asked, pointing to the two men. Miss Crane leaned closer, her eyes glinting with a strange light. "The leaders of the lantern keepers," she whispered. "Harold Greene and Evan Ross. They vanished without a trace a century ago." Section 6. Unholy Alliance. Greene and Ross exposed. The names Harold Greene and Evan Ross echoed through the chambers of history like whispers from a forgotten nightmare. They had been lost to time, their existence relegated to the dusty annals of local law. But now, Detective Novak found herself face to face with the chilling reality of their legacy. Greene, the charismatic leader, was said to be a scholar of the occult. He believed the lighthouse was a conduit to a realm beyond human comprehension, a place where the veil between life and death thinned to a whisper. Ross, his right-hand man, was a brooding figure consumed by a darkness that even Greene couldn't penetrate. Their rituals grew increasingly bizarre, fueled by a dangerous cocktail of obsession and delusion. They believed that by sacrificing the living, they could appease the restless spirits of the sea. But their actions only served to amplify the darkness that clung to them. Novak discovered that Greene and Ross had been responsible for a string of disappearances in the early 20th century. Young men and women, drawn to the lighthouse's allure, vanished without a trace. Their bodies were never found, their fates forever shrouded in mystery. The parallels to the present-day murders were undeniable. But how could two men, long dead, be connected to crimes committed a century later? The answer, Novak would soon discover, lay in the twisted branches of their family tree. Section 7. Justice Served, A Community Heals. The trial of Richard Greene and Daniel Ross sent shockwaves through the community. The two men, descendants of the original lantern keepers, were found guilty of the murders. Evidence presented at trial revealed a chilling tale of inherited madness and a twisted sense of duty. Richard, a quiet, unassuming history professor, had stumbled upon his ancestors' journals. He became consumed by the lantern keepers' twisted ideology, believing it was his birthright to continue their work. Daniel, a troubled drifter with a history of violence, was easily manipulated by his cousin's fanaticism. Together they embarked on a campaign of terror, mirroring the horrific crimes committed a century earlier. The community, once gripped by fear, breathed a collective sigh of relief. Justice had been served. The cycle of violence spanning generations was finally broken. The lighthouse, once a symbol of fear, slowly began to reclaim its place as a beacon of hope. Section 8. Echoes of the Past, The Lantern's Shadow. In the aftermath of the trial, a sense of peace settled over Beacon Point. The spectre of the lantern keepers faded into memory, a chilling reminder of the darkness that can fester in the human heart. Detective Novak, hailed as a hero, carried the weight of the case with her. She had stared into the abyss and emerged victorious, but the experience left an indelible mark on her soul. The lighthouse, once shrouded in darkness, underwent a transformation. Local historians and preservationists worked tirelessly to restore it to its former glory. The beacon, relit for the first time in decades, cast a warm glow over the town, a symbol of resilience and the enduring power of hope. Section 9. Conclusion. The darkness within. The Lantern Keeper's murders serve as a stark reminder that the past is never truly gone. It lingers in the shadows, whispering its secrets to those who dare to listen. The darkness that drove Greene and Ross to commit unspeakable acts may have been extinguished, but the potential for evil resides within us all. We must remain vigilant, guarding against the seductive allure of fanaticism and the corrupting influence of unchecked power. Only then can we hope to break free from the chains of history and build a brighter future, free from the shadows of the past.